Welcome CCTV and welcome to this episode of Screen Pass for everybody at home. This is called a podcast, and what a podcast is, it's radio for the internet. And our student here, aspiring podcast
Yeah,
maker,
that's right.
is on his way. And so here's his very first podcast. We are supporting him today, and we're talking about football that's coming up. And I'm going to turn this over to him, and he will take it away. Go ahead, Zach.
All right. So I'm Zach McDaniel, and I'm the host of Screen Pass. Today we're going to be talking about the Power 5 conferences. Me and Eric are going to pick our Heisman Trophy winners and our playoff predictions. So let's go in to the Power 5 conferences. And I'm going to start with perhaps the best, or what I think is the best
Okay.
conference, the ACC. Last year, the ACC, Clemson won the ACC, but Clemson also won the national championship where they beat Alabama. They lost their quarterback. They lost a lot of guys around them. Everybody just thinks Clemson is going to fall off the map or something. But they still have the talent to
Okay.
compete.
Okay.
I just don't think they're going to fall off the map like everybody else thinks. They're still going to be at the top of the ACC. Just not the number one team.
Okay.
Florida State will be at the top. They will be number one in the ACC. And I got them against Virginia Tech in the ACC championship. So,
Why do you have them paired up like that?
there's really nobody in the Coastal that can I don't think they're gonna compete
Yeah.
with Virginia Tech. Maybe North Carolina, Georgia Tech, Miami. Everybody thinks it's going to be Miami to win the Coastal. Not yet.
All right.
Mark Rick has them in a good position. They could win it this year. I just don't think they're going to win the Coastal this year. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Maybe the year after. But one thing is for sure, they are not going to beat Florida State this year.
You're going all in, right?
Nah,
You're doing all in on that.
Florida State.
All right.
Uh,
So the next conference, you want to go to the next conference?
yeah, let's go into the next
the
conference.
SEC, right?
The SEC.
Why don't you
Yep.
go into that for us?
All right. So basically, it's Alabama, right? It's Alabama, and then a bunch of these teams right here at the bottom. Alabama. Well, I think without Alabama, the SEC would be the worst conference. Maybe I'm being
Mhm.
biased.
He's
Maybe.
biased, everybody. He's biased.
I
I'm
don't-
joking.
Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. But I think it's time Alabama does not win the SEC this year.
Mm.
I'm going their arch nemesis, their rival, Auburn Tigers. The Auburn Tigers are going to win the SEC this year. I think Jarrett Stidham is going to be exactly what Auburn needs to make a playoff push.
Mm.
They're going to win the SEC. I got Auburn versus Georgia,
Mm.
right?
That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, they they play. Auburn plays Georgia in the regular season, but I think Georgia will beat them then. But Auburn takes them in the SEC championship. I also think Auburn is going to be the first two-loss team to make the playoffs. I think they're going to lose to Clemson, and they are going to lose to Georgia the first time, and then they'll beat Georgia. They'll avenge their loss, basically. So, yeah.
All right.
Alrighty. Let's move on to the Big Ten.
Big Ten.
The Big Ten. This is really a top-heavy conference. There's not really much at the bottom of the conference.
Hmm.
You got Rutgers and Purdue, and they're not very good. But at the top, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Michigan, Penn State, a very good
Mm-hmm.
conference at the top.
Tell me about Penn State a little bit. Just kind of go into them and what you've been looking at them recently with Penn State.
Yeah, they have I think Penn State, their running back, Saquon Barkley, he has a very good chance to win the Heisman this year. Quarterback Trace McSorley, he returns. They did lose a couple of guys. Chris Godwin got drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to be solid. Not as good as they were last year, though. Not near. Well, not as good. We'll just leave it at that. But I still got Ohio State winning the conference.
All right.
Ohio State versus Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a team. They have a very not challenging schedule. I can easily see them going undefeated with their schedule, or having at least one loss. Very easy schedule. So we're not really sure what Wisconsin is going to be until later in the season because of their schedule. But I still got Ohio State winning the Big Ten.
Gotcha. Let's go on the Pac-12 for us.
All right,
We should
the
go
Pac-
on that one.
The Pac-12.
Yeah.
A lot of people discredit the Pac-12.
Tell me why. Tell me why there's that kind of stigma with that.
Uh,
If I mean, from what you do, I mean, this is like your opinion, but what do you think?
yeah, I'm not really sure
Yeah.
why the disrespect. Everybody disrespects the Pac-12. I'm not a Pac-12 fan, but I don't like the disrespect. Everybody thinks that's the worst conference. But both of those divisions challenge the SEC East. So I'm not really sure where the disrespect comes from. I think it's because they might have missed the playoffs a couple of times.
Mhm.
Well, once maybe.
Well, who do you got winning it?
I got USC winning it.
Yeah.
USC. Sam Darnold returning. I think he's going to win the Heisman. Sam Darnold. I think USC, Clay Helton's got him in a good spot. It's going to be USC all the way. I got USC versus Washington. Washington went there last year. They return their quarterback, Jake Browning. I just think Washington is kind of take a step back. And USC is going to dethrone them in the Pac-12. I got USC. USC wins the Pac-12. All right.
All right.
So let's move on to the Big 12.
Big 12.
Now, I'm not going to be mad if you disrespect the Big 12.
Why is that? Tell me your opinion on that one.
Well, they didn't even have a championship game until
I mean, that might be a thing.
until this year. They have one this year.
Okay.
But I still don't even think that is enough to, put them in the playoffs. The Oklahoma was considered the top team in the Big 12 the past 5 years. Well, not past 5 years maybe. But they lost their coach, Bob Stoops. Lincoln Riley steps in. Very good offensive coordinator. Not really sure how he pans out as a head coach.
Okay.
But whatever, it's Oklahoma. I don't even have Oklahoma winning the Big 12. West Virginia Mountaineers. Let me tell you why.
Why?
It's all in the quarterback, baby. Will Greer.
Tell me
Will
about
Greer.
him. Go in just a little bit. Just a little bit about him.
Will
Enlighten
Greer.
us. For who's that don't know. I mean, y'all know, but go ahead.
Will Greer played a couple of years ago at Florida.
Okay.
He went 6-0 in that little stretch that he did play. He got suspended for PEDs. So basically, I believe McElwain just told him he needed to start over, kind of start his career over, go play football somewhere else.
Yeah.
So Will Grier transferred to West Virginia, sat out 1 year. Here he is. If this is the same Will Grier that we saw play at the University of Florida, I think West Virginia is a serious contender. They could make the playoffs. I still don't see it happening, but they could. They could. West Virginia versus Oklahoma in the Big 12.
Awesome.
But West Virginia, I think they fall short, just short, of making the playoffs. All right.
Wah, wah, wah. Sorry for that prediction.
So,
All right.
Heisman. Who's going to win the Heisman?
I got Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, the
Yep.
returning.
I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
Guy's
he
got
is.
it going on. Who do you think?
I
Who's yours?
got Sam Darnold.
You serious?
Well, come on now, Sam Darnold. You got to go Sam Darnold.
I'm razzing you. Everybody knows I'm razzing you. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me about him. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Tell you about him?
Well, everybody knows, but go ahead. Just tell us about him. A little more about him.
All right, well, he had a very good year last year, coming onto the scene. USC was struggling a bit earlier in the year. They really got it together with Sam Darnold. He came in, beat Washington. And, man, did you see him in the Penn State game in the Rose Bowl? Incredible.
It was.
Incredible. Yeah. So I think he's going to have a fantastic year. He will be the Heisman Trophy winner. All right, so this is the last segment. Who do you have in the playoffs?
In the playoffs, I have USC as my number one. I mean,
All right.
I'm just going there. I think they're awesome. They're in there. Alabama, number 2. My number 3 is Penn State. And 4th, I got FSU.
All right, Florida State. Okay, let me tell you my picks. USC, just like you. Sam Darnold's going to have a fantastic year. I've said that about 10 times. Number 2, Ohio State. I think a lot of people look back from last year's loss to Clemson. They lost to Clemson 31-0. I don't think we're going to see that Ohio State team. They got Kevin Wilson, our offensive coordinator, this year. He's going to improve their offense tremendously, I think. Number 3, Florida State. They get Derwin James back, so that will help them tremendously. That will really help them. Quarterback DeAndre Francois, if he can stay up on his feet, that will be the team to beat. But I don't think he can stay up on his feet. The offensive line has a lot of questions surrounding it.
Gotcha.
So, and then number 4, the first playoff team. The first team that will get into the playoffs, Auburn, with 2 losses, would be Auburn. They will lose to Clemson. They will lose to Georgia, but they will still make the playoffs. Jarrett Stidham. He's incredible. I think the quarterback play is going to be a major factor for a major player for Auburn. That is exactly what they have needed the past couple of years. They didn't get it, but they have a quarterback now. They will take down Alabama, make it to the playoffs. And that's it.
That is it.
That is it. Thank you very much for joining us today in this podcast. It was a good podcast. So this is Eric.
And we're signing off with
We're
CCTV.
signing off. I'm
And
Zach McDaniel. I'm your host.
And I'm
Signing
Eric
off.
Dev, your guest football
Yeah.
expert. I'm
Yeah.
joking.
An expert.
Anyway, have a good day, CCTV.
All right. Have a good day.